this is Kelly from Soulful Creations, and today I'm going to be making the NMA Wallet by CJ. NMA means beauty, and this wallet is a beauty. I love that it has a large flap with snap closure. You can also use a magnetic snap if you choose, and it opens up to 6 card slots. Inside is very roomy. You can add more cards. It has a slip pocket for bills. It has a zipper pocket for coins. It's large enough to even hold your cell phone. This wallet can replace a bag if you're going out for the evening and you don't want a large bag. I mean, you can carry your NMA. So make sure you get the copy of the pattern. I'm going to have a link in the description. And join me in making the NMA bag by CJ. Hi, this is Kelly again with Soulful Creations. So I'm going to introduce the pieces that you have to cut out for your NMA wallet. So the first thing is your main panels. You're going to need one for your exterior and one for your lining. So I'm using a very thin vinyl, and so I decided I'm going to cut my exterior and my lining from the same vinyl. You could use your vinyl and cotton, or you can use waterproof canvas. But again, like I said, because this is so thin, I thought I could get away with using the vinyl for both the exterior and the vinyl. So you're going to need 2 of those. I've already folded in the seam allowance by 1/4 inch all around. Okay, and so just follow the instructions on how to do that. I used a spray adhesive, but you can use double-sided tape or you can use glue, whatever your preference is. So I have those. There's also a marking for where you're going to put your snap. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I have that. You're going to need your main panel interfaces. Now, this is where you need to decide what type of interfacing you're going to use, depending on the materials you use. If you're making your wallet out of cotton, then you want to use something, you know, a little sturdy, maybe some Decaville Light, or even maybe some Peltex or something like that. But always fuse your cottons with a woven interfacing first. But like I said, I'm using vinyl, and I'm going to use a piece of Decaville Heavy, and then I'm also using this. This is like that packing foam, and it's very thin, but I want a little cushion to my wallet. So I'm going to actually use some adhesive, some spray adhesive to apply the foam here, and then I'm going to add my Decaville Heavy on top. So I have the Decaville Heavy and the foam. Okay, then you're going to need 2 of these card slot pieces. So I have cut mine out of vinyl, and you're going to fold the top down 1/4 inch, and then you have these little tabs on the side that you're going to fold in also. So I've done that already. So I have 2 of those. You have your card slot 3, and then also it's just a rectangular piece, and you're going to fold in all the sides by 1/4 inch. So I've done that. So this also a card slot piece, and this is your card slot guide. You're going to cut this out. It's going to help you know where to place your card slots, but you don't cut any fabric from this. This is just a guide piece. Okay, you're going to cut your gusset pieces. You're going to need 2 from your exterior and 2 from your lining. So I have the 2 from my vinyl. I have 4 pieces from my vinyl, because again, I'm using it as my exterior and as my lining. But if you're using something different, then you would have either 2 vinyl, 2 cotton, or waterproof canvas, whatever you choose. Okay, and then you're going to have your zipper pocket piece. Now this piece, make sure you cut this part on the fold. So this part will cut on the fold, and then you cut out that center piece. Okay, and you're going to have a piece that looks like this. Okay, so it's cut on the fold like this, and just draw that window out and then cut it out. Okay, so I have that. I chose to cut that in my vinyl as well. Okay, it's not a part of the pattern, but I did cut out lining for my zipper pocket because I didn't like leaving it raw on the inside. So I have cut 2 pieces that are 7 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. So I might have to trim a little bit off, but that's what I cut it at. So I'm going to use that to line my zipper pocket. And then you're going to have a slip pocket piece. Again, I chose to cut mine out of vinyl. It's cut on the fold like this. So you'll have a piece like that. So whatever material you choose to cut yours out of. So those are the pieces. Not a whole lot of pieces for the NMA wallet. And it's pronounced NMA and it means beauty. I really love that. I really love the name, the meaning of the name. And it sounds so pretty. Okay, so also for your hardware, oh, also I forgot, there's an optional wrist strap. So I've cut my wrist strap. I have it all prepped and ready to sew. I cut mine at 13 inches and it's 3 inches wide because I'm going to do a 3/4 inch strap. I think in the pattern, she does a 1/2 inch strap, but I like a little beefier, wrist strap, and I like it to be a little roomier to get my hand in. So my hands are not that small. So that's why mine is cut at 13 inches. So cut it according to the length you desire and the width according to whatever hardware you're going to use. For the wrist strap, I have a gate ring because it's going to be attached with, you're going to need a grommet. So you're going to add a grommet, and then I'm going to put the gate ring through the grommet, and then also I'm going to have a swivel hook attached. So those are the pieces for the wrist strap. Okay, for your zipper pocket, you're going to need a piece of zipper tape and a zipper pull. Also for the wrist strap, you may want a rivet. So I have one rivet there. And then for my closure, I'm just going to use these spring snaps. So there's 4 pieces to it. So this is the exterior piece, and this goes with that. So you have those 2 pieces that sit together, and then you have this is the male part. So those 2 pieces go together. So whatever snaps you use, make sure you have the proper setting tools. So I'm using these basic setting tools that came with them, and this, and all I'm going to just use is my rubber mallet to set it. Okay, so those are your materials, your hardware. Like I said, it's not a lot. I think it's a fairly quick sew. So let's get started and make the NMA wallet. Okay, so I'm going to start with my wrist strap. Again, I've cut it 3 inches wide. What I've done is I folded the raw edges to the center, and then I folded it in half one more time. I just have these clips in here to hold everything in place. So I'm just going to top stitch around the whole thing. Okay, so I have my stitch length set to a 5. Again, I'm using my Juki 1181N. Okay. And we'll just start and just top stitching at 1/8 of an inch. And this wrist strap is totally optional, and you can make it whatever length or width you choose. So I'm just sewing all around. Trim that. All right, so now how I do my wrist strap is I'm going to just simply take my hook. Where's the side? This is the back side here. Just trim these threads down just a little more. Okay. And I'm just going to fold it over maybe about 1.5 inches or so. And then what I'll do is I just like to tuck this raw edge right up under there and get it right up to the ring there, just like that. So close as it'll fit. Okay. Just burn the thread a little bit right there. Okay. And you can sew across here if you want, or me, I'm just going to place a rivet. You can also add a strap in across here if you don't like the raw edge showing, or you can put some edge paint. So whatever your preference is. So I'm just going to punch a hole there. Whoop. After I pick that up in a minute. Tell you, it wouldn't be a day of sewing if I didn't knock something over. Okay. Sorry for the loud bang. Okay, so I'll grab my rivet. And for this wallet, you really do not want to use any thick vinyls. It's just really not good for this type of wallet. It's going to get way too bulky and thick, even for an industrial. You don't want to do that. Okay. So now I have my wrist strap. Okay, so that's done. Set that aside. So now my next step will be these card slots. So I've marked one of these that I want to use for my exterior. So I'm going to grab that. And if you see, I already have these markings from my card slot placement guide. And I'm going to just go ahead and use those markings. And I'm going to grab these card slots 1 and 2. And I also have some markings here too to help me line it up. And I'm going to, make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, you want to start at this end. So this is the straight edge. Okay, so the card slot, the top of the card slot should be in line with the straight edge. Okay. So, because it's going to fold up like this. It's a tri-fold wallet. So it's going to fold up like that. So that's where you want to line it up. Okay. So these markings here should line up with the markings that I have here underneath here. Okay. And then the tabs over here on the side, they should line up with the side, not extend past. So just line it up. And I'm just going to place a little clip there. And same with over here. Make sure that the markings are lined up. And I'm going to place a clip on this side, okay? And it may seem like it's going to buckle up a little bit, but it will, once you get this sewn down, it will not, okay? So now we're just going to sew across the bottom, right across here. These with 1/8 of an inch. So we're just closing off the back stitch, beginning and end, and we're just closing off the bottom of this card slot. I'm just gonna go right over here to this one, keeping everything lined up. And again, back stitch and go across. And that. So now we take our second piece, and right where this tab, the cutout for the tab is right here, we're going to line that right up underneath that tab. And we're going to clip it. And then the same thing over here. So here we have the tab, and we're just lining the top right up underneath that tab there. Okay, and again, and then also making sure, so make sure that this comes up to cover this gap here. So there we go. So now we're going to sew that down just like the other one. Okay, so now we have these attached. Now we're going to put card slot 3, and again, it's going to come right up underneath this tab here, and then also making sure that it's covering the top here. And then I have a line, I don't know if you can see it, but that's, I want it to go, I don't want it to go past that. That's from the guide, okay? So that way I know I'm keeping it even right there. When the wallet is folded, this should end up being the bottom. Okay, so that looks, everything looks lined up well. Okay. Alrighty. And well, I have my placement marks on this, and I actually put this upside down. So I'm going to turn it this way. It really wouldn't matter had I not, but I have my placement marks, so I need to make sure I'm putting it on the right way. Okay. Because we're going to put a snap on this part. Okay. So now, so we have that. So again, like I said, so this is going to end up, when the wallet is folded up, that should be lined up across the bottom, and then the flap will come down like this. So here's this mark here is for the snap, and then we have the line for sewing the middle, so we can divide our card pocket slots. Okay, so right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew. Go ahead and sew across the bottom here. 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to top stitch. Okay, so now I have that. Now we're going to start sewing down the center. We're going to stop here. We have a placement mark there where we're going to stop, which is right there. Okay, and we're going to sew down, dividing our card pocket slots. Let me just double check and make sure that I have my placement right. Okay. Alrighty. Now we're going to start here. Okay. And I back stitch a couple of times and I'm just sewing down to my mark. And stopping at that mark. Then I don't back stitch here yet. I just turn it this way and I'm going to come right back up. And that just gives me, and I'm going to sew right back over where I top stitch. So now I have my card slot pockets. Okay. All right. And then I can add my my mail snap here. So I'm gonna grab that. My tools here. My little tools, and I'm going to grab the mail pieces. So these are the mail pieces here. And I'm just going to punch a hole there. Let's fold this in a little. Let's see. I can get in there and punch right there. Okay. And then also, I like to put a piece of Peltex, little piece of Peltex. Oops, like I said, just dropping everything today. We pick that up. Okay, so now I'm just going to, you have a longer post and a shorter one. So the longer one is what goes through the back. So first I'm going to put it through my Peltex, like that, and then through the back, and then this goes on top. Okay, and then we have this, the side with the little nub right there, that goes right into the center. And then we have this one with the little hollow tip right there, and it slides right over the top. And then with my little rubber mallet, I'll just give it a couple of little whacks. Okay. Like that. Make sure it's secure. Okay. So now I have my half of my snap. So like I said, it's going to go just like that. Okay, so now we have that done, and next we're going to prepare our zipper pockets. So get your pieces. You're going to need all 4 of your gusset pieces. You're going to need your zipper pocket piece. And if you're lining your zipper pocket, your 2 lining pieces. And then, of course, your zipper and your zipper pull. Okay, so these are the pieces you're going to need. I'm going to set everything else aside for now. Okay, and we'll get started on our zipper pocket when we come back. Okay, before I do the zipper pocket, I just wanted to show you that I added my label to the front of my wallet. So I did 2 5/8 down from this rounded edge and centered it. So I think it's gonna look nice there. So it'll look like that. Okay, so I just want to show that. Okay, if you have a label, that's an option to place it there. Okay, so we're going to do the zipper pocket, as I said. So we're going to first prep the gussets. Now, according to the pattern, you're going to fold all the raw edges in on your gusset pieces by 1/4 inch, all the way around. And then you'll put them together, wrong sides together, to create your gusset. But I can never match them up so great that way. So I'm going to actually sew them right sides together. Okay, so this is just another way to do it. And it works better for me. So that's the good thing about patterns. So you can adjust them to work for you. Okay, so I'm going to leave the narrow end open, and I'm just going to sew down and around the bottom and up the top here. Okay, at 1/4 inch. A little too far. There we go. Okay, so that's what I've done on this one. So I've sewn around. Now I'm going to trim here, and I'm going to trim these corners. Okay, so I can poke out my corners good. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it out. So I'm going to get my fingers in there so I can poke these corners. And push the corner out. I'll do the same thing over here. I just try to get my thumb in there and then push down so I can get a nice corner. Best I can here. Okay, and then just roll it like that. Okay, and then I'll just take this little chopstick and finish pushing out the corners. And just be careful, you know, because I don't want to rip my seam. Okay. There we go. I think that's good. Okay, so now I'll just roll these seams out, and then down here at the bottom, I'm going to just fold it down. Okay, about 1/4 inch. Okay. That's about 1/4 inch, and I'm just going to tuck the raw edges in down here at the bottom, and then clip it Now I'm just going to top stitch all the way around. Okay, and I'll start right here at the bottom. And I find this way, everything lines up nicely. With a piece this small, it was just a struggle to try to line it all up for me. Let's go all the way around. All right. So there we go. So we have one gusset done and everything looks nice. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing to the other. Real quick. Just line everything up. Put a couple of clips so it doesn't slide. Okay. And we'll do the same thing with the other. Trim my seam allowance here and here. And then push that these corners. Okay, and then fold down 1/4 of an inch. And now we're going to top stitch. Just make sure that they're the same. Make sure that I didn't make one. Okay. Okay. Making sure the seam is rolled out good. All right. So now we have our gussets prepared and ready. Okay. Okay. So now our gussets are ready. So now we're going to move on to the slip pocket. Okay, so I have my zipper, to the zipper pocket, excuse me. So I have my zipper. I'm just going to match up the raw edges to the raw edge of my lining piece. So wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the lining. And I'm just going to sew that on at 1/4 inch. So once again, this is just my method of doing my zipper pockets. And then we're going to top stitch the lining down. Mat in here or something flying in here. It's kind of hot today. Okay. Now we do the same thing over here on the second piece. So line up the raw edges. Wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the lining pocket piece, and we're just going to sew at 1/4 inch. And again, fold the seam allowance down toward the lining pocket piece. And we're going to top stitch. Now we're going to add some double-sided tape to the zipper. I just used a little 1/8 inch piece of double-sided tape on the top and the bottom. And then we'll add our zipper pull. Add our zipper pull. And now we'll take our zipper pocket piece here, or the exterior piece, and we're just going to center that right over the zipper, like so. Okay. And then we'll remove the paper off the double-sided tape. Oh, didn't press that down good. Okay. And press down. And the same thing on this side. Just like that. Okay, so now leave everything open, and we're just going to top stitch around. Let me just make sure my bobbin's good, because I think I'm going to go ahead and replace my bobbin right now, because it sounds like it's getting low. So let me grab my bobbin. Grab a full bobbin here. All right, and so now I'm going to just top stitch around. I'll leave the tails long so that I can pull them to the back. Just take my time and go around. So this acts like an overlay, in a sense. So you handle this just like you would do a zipper pocket with overlay. Now this one is cut rounded on the ends, so I'm just walking it around, but you could also cut this as a square if you don't like the curves. It doesn't have to be rounded like this. Okay. So if you find the curves difficult for you, just go ahead and cut it as a rectangle. Okay, so I'm just pulling my tail to the back, and I'm getting ready to sew around to where I started. Okay. Alrighty, pull that. I'm going to pull that to the back. And we'll just tie off these tails. I have glue all over my fingers from earlier. I tried to wash it off. Okay. All right. Now, so we have our zipper, our lined zipper pocket down. Okay, so we're going to fold this in half. Okay, so this is where I told you I would probably need to trim my lining. See, so it's overhanging there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to sew this. So I want it to be a little shorter here. I want it, so I'm probably going to have to trim off about an inch or so. Okay, so if that gives you any indication, you can probably, instead of, I cut it at 3.5 inches, probably do maybe 3 or 2.5 inches instead. Okay, but I just wanted to make sure I had enough. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sew up, sew the bottom of this zipper pocket. Okay. And I'm sewing it at about 5/8. And then I'm just going to trim that off. Even about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And then I'm also going to sew down the sides. So making sure that this bottom stays, the zipper should be, the zipper teeth should be up at the top here. I'm just going to sew down the sides of my lining. And that's at about 1/4 of an inch. And the same thing over here. So open up your zipper and then just about 1/4 of an inch. Don't sew through the exterior. So now the linings are closed up. So now I can fold this in half, meeting the bottom here. Okay. I could probably shorten that lining some more, but I won't. Okay. And we're going to clip the bottom together. And then we clip up the sides. Part of my zipper tape. So I don't need that in the way. So trim that down a little. Make sure it's all smoothed out. Your zipper should be at the top, like that. Okay, make sure. Okay, now we're going to sew down the sides and the bottom at 1/4 of an inch. Top stitching. I'll just start over here. I'm doing 1/4. Let me double check. I think it's 1/4 of an inch. Let me just make sure it's not 1/8 before I tell you wrong. You'll be mad at me. Okay, we can't have that. So let me just double check. Okay, we are doing 1/4, and then we're going to trim it down to 1/8. Okay. So here we go. So 1/4. Come on the bottom. And back this way. Okay, so now we've done that. Now we can trim it down. Okay, so we're trimming down to 1/8. And up the sides. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So now we have a functional zipper pocket. It's all lined. Okay. Now we can add our gussets to it. So take one of your gusset pieces. We're going to fold it in half like that. And crease it a little. And we're going to take the side here. I'm going to slide it in there like that. And we're going to clip it. So make sure it's in there snug. Okay. And the same thing with the other piece. Oh, that's my, okay. Make sure it's lined up at the top. That's the most important. Mine is just a tad bit short at the bottom, but I think that's because I think I might have cut it just a little small. But it doesn't matter because that's not, this is going to be on the bottom of the wallet. And it won't even be seen. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew that. We're going to sew down the fold here at 1/4 inch. Okay, so make sure that's lined up. Let me line that up a little bit better. Okay. And 1/4 inch. Make sure you back stitch really well. You get it in the end. Yeah, I for sure cut my zipper pocket. I cut it a little short. I thought I did earlier, but I forgot to check. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to recut it. I've already done this, so. But it should all line up if you cut it the right size. Okay. Okay. Move your zipper out the way, and we're going to sew this side up. Same thing, 1/4 inch. So that's it. Gussets are on. Okay, let me just get these threads. Neaten that up. Yeah. Okay. So now we have that. We're going to set that aside. Okay, so we have all of that ready. Now we're going to get our slip pocket. Okay, so I have my slip pocket piece. Okay, again, so what she has you do is fold it right sides together and sew at 1/4 inch. You're going to leave an opening and you're going to sew down at 1/4 inch here, and then you're going to turn it out. Okay. I do it a little different here. Let me show you what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 1/2 inch, okay, on the sides. Right. I'm going to take my double-sided tape. Okay. And I'm just going to put a piece on each side here. like that. Okay. And I'm just going to fold in. So I'm folding in my 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. So instead of sewing it down, I'm just folding that in on these short sides. And I just find it gives me a neater pocket than sewing it right sides together and turning it out. Okay, just like this here. Now, I am going to sew this bottom at 1/4 inch. So, right sides together. This part I will sew. Okay. So, I'm going to sew that at 1/4 inch. Keep everything lined up well. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn this out. Okay, so be careful. You don't want to rip your vinyl or whatever you're using. Okay. Since this vinyl is so thin. Okay, so now I have some nice sides there. Okay, I find the bottom seam, roll it out. Okay. Now that's going to be the bottom. This will be the bottom of my slip pocket. Okay. And now the top, I'm going to top stitch. Just right across the top. 1/8 of an inch. So I just find that I get a much neater slip pocket that way. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my lining, and then I'm going to show you how we place this onto the lining, the slip pocket onto the lining. Okay, so I have my lining piece, and now we're going to get ready to attach the slip pocket. So I'm going to find my center, okay, just like this. Just fold it and just give a little bit of a crease. Also, I'm going to use a little chalk here, just so I know. Okay, and we're going to go 4 inches from the straight edge, not the curved edge. So 4 inches, and find my center there. Okay, that's 4, and this is where the slip pocket will go. And that's the center there, okay? So once you have that marked, then get your slip pocket. And we're also going to mark the center. Just give it a little crease here. The bottom of the slip pocket will be going towards that straight edge, okay? And let's center it. Okay. All right, that's about centered. And we're going to stitch down the side, across the bottom, and the other side. So we're just top stitching our slip pocket in place. So let me just grab a couple of long clips here just to hold that down. Okay. And then I'm just going to top stitch my slip pocket on. Okay. That looks great. Okay. And if you want, you can even add a couple of rivets in the corners if you want to, but I'm not going to. But so there's the slip pocket. Put some receipts in there. Looks nice. Okay, so now that we have all our pieces are prepped and ready, I'm going to come back with the stabilizer and show you how we're going to put it all together. Okay, so I have my stabilizers. I'm going to get ready to add it to, this is the exterior piece, the outer exterior piece here. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little adhesive here. Make sure you're in a ventilated area. Okay. And then I have, like I said, this packing foam. I get it from Walmart in a roll. And I'm just going to lay that right there. I like wallets. I like them with some structure and also a little cushion. Okay. And that goes on. And then I have my piece of Decaville Heavy, okay, that I'm going to lay right here on top of my foam. Okay, and I'm also going to spray that on because I can't iron it on. So I'm just going to stick pretty good. Okay. 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 Very good. Now I'm going to get my lining. And we're going to place that wrong sides together, and we're on the straight edge, and we're just going to match that up. Okay. Matching it up. Okay. And we're just going to top stitch the bottom for now. Okay, so I'm just going to top stitch the bottom. So 1/8 of an inch. Top stitching right across the bottom, keeping everything matched up. Okay. All right. So you'll have it looking just like that. Okay. So now we're going to get ready to attach our gusset. Okay, so now we're ready to attach the gusset. So make sure you have your gusset and situated in a way where you want your zipper. So if you want your zipper to close to the left, then if your wallet is like this, then you want your zipper to go this way, okay? If you want it to close to the right, then you'll have it this way. So I like mine to close to the left, so I'm going to situate mine this way. So see some thread here. So I'm going to open up this side of the gusset, and I'm going to match it up with the edge, like that. Okay, so all the way down here, okay, just like that, and just clip it. Okay, so we're going to be sewing through these card slots, so it gets pretty thick there. Okay, that's why you don't want to use anything too thick. Okay, and then the same thing over here. I believe my machine can handle the thickness, so give it a shot here. Okay, and we're going to sew from this top all the way down, and we're going to continue past the gusset, 1.5 inches past the gusset. Okay, so to about right here, and the same on this side. Okay. Alrighty. So now we just sew down. So, and let me just double check if we're doing, I believe we're doing 1/8, and we are. So we're going to sew through all of these layers. Let me just make sure I have everything clipped, because I'm also using pretty beefy stabilizer here. So let's just make sure. Okay, I'll start on this side, and I'm starting at that 1.5 inch mark. Okay. And I'll just back stitch. Okay. Make sure everything's lined up. And I'm just back stitching a little over the gusset. And that looks good on the other side. We caught the card slots on this side. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Everything lined up. Okay. And I'm getting close to that 1.5 inch mark where I'm going to stop. And back stitch. All right. Okay, so I have 1/2 of my gusset attached. Okay, now I'm going to bring this up and roll it around, and we're going to sew. Okay, so we're just where it naturally wants to fall. So bring the wallet up. It should meet about right where we stopped stitching. Just make sure everything's lined up. This part gets a little tight, but we can do it. And we're just going to clip that, and we're going to sew. And I'll also go ahead and do this side. Okay. And down. Just make sure everything is lined up. Okay. I would not do all vinyl like this unless if I had a domestic. I would use a cotton lining or a lightweight waterproof canvas, ripstop or something like that. Okay, so it's going to be like this. Okay, we can see that it's coming together. And I just haven't, my stabilizers are stiff right now. We just have to get them rolled. That's what happens with this. But once we get it all together and we shape it up, we have to shape the Decaville. Okay, because it's just stiff right now. Okay, so now we're going to sew from the bottom of the gusset, and we're going to sew all the way around to the other side. So we're also sewing the top part together. So make sure everything is matched up and lined up, and then go ahead and clip up the rest, because we're going to sew it all at once. And it's coming together. And then after we do this, the only thing left to do is do our grommet and attach our wrist strap. Okay, so I promise you, all that bulkiness is going to look better. So I'm going to start over here on this side. And we really have to just push everything down. Push down. And get our needle in there. Get our presser foot in there. That's why we stopped at 1.5 inches. Okay? And we're just going to take our time. And I'm just going along that 1/8 of an inch. Just adding a little extra stitches on my gusset. And make sure these curves are lined up the best you can get them. And make sure everything is lined up. Adjust as you go if you need to. Take your time around the curves. And now we're getting ready to get back over to the other gusset. I'm going to start pushing everything down over here. Back stitch. Okay, so I'm almost to the end. I'm just pushing down on the gusset here. And make sure. I'm just going to grab with the pliers here just to move my gusset back in place and hold it down. Okay. There we go. All right, we made it. It wasn't too difficult. It wasn't too difficult. Okay, let me just make sure I burn these threads a little. Make sure everything, that looks really good. Okay, get our gusset in. Now this is where if you're using that foam and that Decaville heavy like me, this is just where you have to massage it and start to shape it to fold, because it doesn't want to fold just yet. Okay, so I'm gonna have to work it. Okay. Fold it down. We're gonna fold it down. You're gonna fold your flap down to see where you want to put your snap, because you have a snap placement, but you know, I like to just use the wallet as a guide. So it's about right there. That's about where we're going to have it to leave room. We have room here. So when your wallet is full, you can see it's starting to shape up. Okay. And my snap is right there. Okay. So I'm just going to press down on my snap to get a placement. And it's going to be about right there. So that's about where I'm going to put my snap. The other half of my snap. So let me grab my hole punch. I'm going to punch my hole here. I'll grab my other half of my snap and my tools. Oh, I don't need this one. I don't need this one. Get my mallet. Okay. So now, the snap part is going to go on the outside. Press it down good. We're going to take this part and we're going to put it right over and press down really well. I put a piece of tape over this metal. It's just so it's smooth and I don't end up denting my snap. That's okay, because I've done that before. So the tape helps. Okay, now I have this part that you stick right there in the hole in the center. Okay. And we're just going to give it a couple of whacks. Okay. Make sure I got it good. Okay. Okay. It should be on tight. Okay. Close my zipper. And fold this over and give it a snap. Make sure it's snapping properly. Okay. And again, I just have to massage the shape together. It's just a little stiff. This vinyl stiff too. Okay. There we go. All right. Not bad. Not bad. I like that. I'm liking that. Okay. So now, like I said, the only thing left to do is to put our grommet on. So I'm going to grab my piece with my grommet placements. Where is it? Here it is. So this is the main. What I'm doing is just lining it up like this. Little about 1 1/4. A 1/4 inch pass. Fold it over. So I'm just putting it within the seam allowance just to, you can mark this before, but I'm just marking it. Marking it now. Okay. And this and go. So my mark is right there. Okay, so that's about right there. And if you don't like that placement, which I don't. Because I want it more toward the back. Okay. I should have marked it before, but I didn't. Okay, so, and I want my strap. I like my strap on this side. So I want it more back here. So I'm just going to mark it. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so that's where I want it. So I'm going to take my grommet, the male part that goes on the outside. Okay, I'm just going to line that up over my mark, and I'll just trace this inner part. Okay, and now that I have that, I'm just going to go ahead and punch this hole out and install my grommet. And then when I come back, I'll have my wrist strap on and I'll show you the final. Okay, so I think it looks really good. You have your slip pocket here. You have room for bills here, receipts. You have room for change. You have your card slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that looks good. It's great. Okay, so come back and show you the end. Okay, so our NMA wallet is all done. I have installed the grommet. I've added the gate ring and the wrist strap, and it is looking so nice. I really like the professional look of this wallet. I love that I did it in all vinyl this time. You know, and it wasn't too difficult. So I love how spacious it is too. There's a lot of room because I carry a lot of stuff. I always have a lot of cards and receipts. And so I really like how spacious it is and how generous the coin pocket is, because I do tend to keep a lot of coins in my wallet too. So so this is the NMA wallet, and again, that means beauty, and she is a beauty. So get the pattern. This is again CJ by CJ, and she really has some great patterns. If you recall, I did the video for the Ruthie bag, so this is another one of her patterns. So I will have a link to get the pattern in the description, as well as any materials I use. And if you like the video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you again for watching.